Hi, today is day 16 and I'm going to divide today up into three pieces. So we're going to start off with what we did today here in Wanaka, and then in the middle we're going to go to some amputation truths, because there's some things that I need to say and some things that starting to bug me, and that if we're going to be honest with this amputation journey, that I think you need to know these things, because I want to show the whole picture, not just the rosy bits. And I'm going to finish off with some scenery from here in Wanaka, from the places that we've been today. So what do we do today? Well, Mark did the park run to start with. Now, I can keep underestimating how long it takes me to do things. So he went out to do the park run, and I intended to get on my crutches and go to the seat just out in the front there so that I could watch him come past at the 4K mark. Now, I underestimated, like I say, the length of time it takes me to do stuff. So I had a shower and got dressed and then went out there. That's literally all I did, but it took me too long, and he'd already run past on his way back and I missed him by the time he got there. So I did apologise, and he's like, oh, it's all right. But on the flip side, I was actually amazed I got to the seat on my crutches, actually, and back again with no mishap. In fact, I feel quite solid on the crutches. I could probably pick up stuff off the floor on crutches easier than I could out of a wheelchair, to be honest. I've done it so many times in a wheelchair and almost tipped myself out. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the day that I'm actually allowed to use them for longer than just a moment or two. Then we went to breakfast, and here in the hotel is where the park runners meet afterwards. Now, I have been here before when I had two legs a few years back when he did the park run, and I was not feeling very welcome at all. Now, this time, my friend Liz had been and done the park run as well, and she was already in the cafe and told them that I was coming. Now, we got to reception, and like I told you the other day, this place is not very wheelchair friendly. So we got a ramp out to cover the steps down, and there was 2 flights of 2 or 3 steps. Oh my God. A ramp over steps that are supposed to be normal steps actually makes them really steep. So I'm glad I actually had a foot, because if I didn't, I would have face planted at the bottom of the step. So we did this twice, because he had to then pick up the ramp and move it to the second set and then put the ramp down again. And then I went down the second set of steps, which was even steeper than the first set. I transferred then into a sofa, and the people this time were actually a lot more friendly. Now, even though I was wearing this t-shirt today, and I'm quite open about talking about it, there was a guy I got talking to about it who said that even though I'm obviously reasonably open about it, it still made him feel a little bit uncomfortable asking me certain things, which I thought was actually quite interesting. And I'm not even sure how I'm going to get around that. In fact, I don't even know that I am. I was joking about it, and we're talking about peg legs and all them sorts of things. We had a really good conversation, but it just made me think about all those other people that I will pass in the street and that sort of thing that probably don't feel that comfortable, but and then maybe the people that were staring at me that I was talking about the other day. And I'm really not sure how we get around that, because New Zealand's got a small population, so therefore you get less of everything, including amputees. In fact, I'm not even sure I've seen one until I was looking for somebody to talk to before this operation. So yes, I'm not really sure what the solution is with that one. So then we went to town. This is where the problem started. So I used a wheelchair, and we did not take the crutches. I wish we had. I wish I'm always going to have them with me from I would say forever and ever, just in case. But we got around it. So we parked in one of the only two disabled spots in town, which I thought was quite incredible, actually. And then we just did a preamble around town. Now, Wanaka's by a lake, and it's not that hilly, but I had the same problem as I had before with all the streets sloping to the road. So I'm constantly going at this on the left-hand side, and Mark was holding the handle at the back of the wheelchair on that side to keep me going straight. And I didn't really mind, because it was actually quite hard work on my shoulders. I'm actually quite interested to see how far Garmin thinks I've gone today, because most of it was actually in the wheelchair propelling myself. So I'm going to have a look afterwards and see what it says. We went into a couple of shops. Some of them actually weren't wheelchair friendly, and there was some aisles, like in Paper Plus, I couldn't actually get between the aisles in half of the shop because the stuff was squashed together. So I couldn't even get in. So I was actually quite surprised that shops do that or are allowed to do that. And I was just preambling around whilst he bought a lottery ticket. And yeah, I was quite horrified. Went into an op shop, and I need to tell you this line. I was just looking around the op shop. This op shop is sometimes a place where I get some pretty good stuff. On this occasion, all I did was buy a little book that's called Smile. And I thought, no, nobody can ever have too many smiles, and I quite liked it. It was only $2. But as I was coming back towards the till, I said to him, "Oh, I'm just gonna go to the till and pay for this." And it was actually tucked down on my knee behind my bum bag that carries my purse. And he said, "Why? What have you found? A single shoe?" Apparently there was a rack by the door saying single gloves. I think he was trying to be smart. But anyway. So the book that I got, there's 2 quotes in here I wanted to mention, and it's just called Smile. And I've only flicked through it, but these 2 popped right out at me. So the first one is this one. Now it says, "And if you've been swimming upstream, maybe you're just building strength for a bigger change in your life." I thought that was very appropriate because I feel like I've been swimming upstream for a really freaking long time. And my life has just changed in a major way, and I'm still swimming upstream, and I will be for a while. So yes, that is very poignant at the moment. And the other one, this really touched me today, and you'll find out later why that is. And here it is here. And it says, "Sure, cliches are everywhere. Here's a biggie. You can be as happy as you decide to be." And it just happens to be true. That is true. And my day didn't start in a happy fashion, but it finished in a more positive fashion. And I'll talk about that a bit later. And it's very true. You can decide whether you're going to be happy or not. A lot of people say to me, "I'm not sure how you're being so positive." I have decided to be as positive as I can be with what is really a lot of shit, actually, if I'm frank. And there's only one way to deal with it if you don't want to drag yourself into the ground, and that is to be positive. So that's why I got that book. We went into a bar for lunch. None of the tables in the bar were low. They were all leaners. So there's no seats that I could sit at. I had to sit on a sofa. Those sorts of things make you feel quite alienated as a wheelchair user. Anyway, moving on. We wandered around the town a little bit more. I did get a bit of help pushing into a few places. We managed to find a solution for how to carry a hot drink on a wheelchair. Just let me show you. So we got that in a bike shop, and it just straps on to the side of the stump support. So I thought that was a pretty neat idea. Thank you, Mark, for that ingenious idea of yours. So I can now carry a drink without spilling it. My water bottle has been in there all day. But it was the visit to the Spates Ale House that disappointed me the most. Now, I was able to get on the stools, on the high tables, because the stools were soft and I could put my leg on the next one beside me. And so I stored the chair down beside me, and this was no big deal. But I needed to go to the loo at one point. Now, every public house should have a disabled toilet. I know what the rules are for disabled toilets because when we built Riding to Health, I had to make sure all our building met all the regulations, or we weren't allowed to open. So I know that there has to be a certain amount of space in a disabled toilet for you to be able to turn the chair around. So I went into their disabled toilet, and this is what it looked like. Yeah, they showed a baby changing facility in the corner, so I couldn't actually turn the chair around at all. I had to reverse back out of the toilet, and the corridor wasn't wide enough either to turn the chair around. So I then had to stand up on my one leg and manually turn it around so I could then leave the corridor where the toilets were. Sorry, Spates Ale House. It's just not good enough. And neither was the response to my complaint. So I can see why disabled people feel so alienated from society, because I'm already finding battles, and I've only been at this 2 weeks. On a positive, left the, excuse me, I left the bar and I was wearing this t-shirt. And as the crowds parted, because I had a entourage of people in front of me moving the furniture, there was two guys right by the door, and they turned around to look to see what the commotion was, saw my t-shirt, both gave me a high five and said they laughed and said they loved the t-shirt. So I'm glad that I got that response, because earlier I forgot to mention, I was sitting at a coffee shop earlier this morning and the response was quite different. So I'm sitting outside on a bench at the coffee shop. The chair is beside me. I'm not sitting in it. I'm sitting on a bench. And there's people coming towards me walking past these benches. There's a walkway between the benches and the coffee shop. We're sitting outside the coffee shop with, Anyway, on the street. These people are coming past. They're facing my t-shirt. Now they look at me, they stare at me, they read the t-shirt, and then they go. And this happened 3 times in a row. I did think that was quite amusing. So the t-shirt's doing its job. I can't wait to get the rest of them. But there are some things that you need to know about being an amputee. Now, I had people contact me. In some countries, you can choose when to have the operations, and in this country, you can't. The medical system has an obligation to do the best they can for you before they allow you to chop things off. And I'm glad that I went through that process, because I actually didn't realise until the very last step, I actually still had some hope left that there would be some way to save the leg. I never chose to be like this. I did not want to be like this. This is not my choice at all. I'm making the best of what has happened to me, but it's not what I wanted. And I want to make that clear, because some people seem to want to be an amputee, and it's not something you should want. It really is not cool. It is very sucky indeed. And yesterday I had my first meltdown post-op. So I just want you to think for a second. You can't nip anywhere. I've said this before. So I went to the bathroom, and this is when my meltdown started, in the bathroom. And I left my glasses in the bathroom. And to get to the bathroom, I had to transfer out of the wheelchair onto crutches and back. I'm back in the wheelchair, and then I realised I forgot my glasses. And that is just a minor thing, but you have to do the whole process again. It becomes really difficult. I wanted to go and sit on the hill. I was trying to work out how the hell I was going to get on the hill. I want to be able to go to all the places everybody else goes to. My favourite restaurant in Wanaka, my favourite Indian restaurant, is upstairs, and I can't get there. I've told you already, my dentist is upstairs, and I can't get there. I had to change dentists. It's really shit. I have to tell you, it's really shit. And the world does not allow wheelchair users to be the same as everybody else, and it should. And so if you're an amputee, the world is not the same. No matter how much you want it to be, the world is never going to be the same. So people say, oh yeah, I know how you feel because I was on crutches, blah, 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 blah. You do not know how I feel at all. Imagine you had to use those crutches forever, and it's the only way you could get around, and you couldn't possibly move without them. Imagine that if your arm was bandaged and it was you want to stay like that forever, you never would get your arm back. It is not the same. It is not the same. It is really shit to not have a limb and to never have it. I look down at my feet, and I'm never going to have 2 feet ever again as long as I live. I'm going to go into old age dealing with this. I'm going to be an old lady still dealing with this. This is not cool. It is not easy, and it's really difficult for me to stay positive all of the time. And I need you to know that this journey is not easy at all. I've always wanted to make this journey real, and everybody knows that I've been really positive and all that sort of thing up till now. But the truth of it is, I had a meltdown last night, a complete meltdown. I went to the bathroom, and I don't even know what it brought it on, but I just suddenly thought, this is shit. It's really shit that I can't get around without some aid now, and that I can't just pop anywhere, and that I don't have a foot, and I can't just walk here, walk there. Half of this apartment that we're staying in is not accessible by wheelchair, so I have to use crutches. And yeah, it's all just a bit shit, and it shouldn't have happened. And I was just, yeah, it all just really got on top of me, and I was really, really upset. My husband said it's all right to be upset. It's actually the first down day I've had since the surgery. and I don't even know what it brought it on, but I expected a roller coaster, and it's hard. It's really hard when you can't just do what you want, and you need to get some type of device to help you do it. It's just really crap. But what I do want to say is a thank you to all of the support from everywhere on all the social media networks, because that means a lot to me. All those people that believe in me, that see the positives, that give me the feedback, that means a lot to me. It means a lot. So keep those comments coming, because I listen and respond to as many as I can. So I live in a pretty cool part of the world. Southern New Zealand, if you've never been here, is, I would say, on the one of the most beautiful countries in the world. I would say it's up there in the top with the best. So I just wanted to show you a couple of little clips of some of the places that we have been today. It's not very long, but it just gives you a snippet of what Wanaka looks like.